All right. Welcome once again, our dear viewer, to Budget Cafe Discussions, a platform which bridges the knowledge and awareness gap regarding the budget making space here in Kenya. As budget champions here in Machakos County. So today we are going to embark on understanding the county fiscal strategy paper. So, Madam Beatrice, do you remember
Yes.
what a county fiscal strategy paper is? Do you know what it is?
Yes, it is the one that deals with the plan of the money and all that.
All of them deal with plan of the money. What
Yes, the
necessarily?
budget.
What in particular about the money?
How it is, how it's going to be spent, how it was acquired. Yes.
Okay. So the county fiscal strategy paper feeds into the subsequent year's budget and is required under the Public Finance Management Act. Okay? So the Public Finance Management Act is a legal framework that all counties have to adhere to, and they have to produce. So the county fiscal strategy paper answers two main questions. What is the overall size of the budget? Revenue, expenditure, deficit, which is balance debt for the coming year. And it also entails what is the distribution of spending at the sector level. So you see, like if a county, let's say Machakos, is planning the budget for the next year. So during the county fiscal strategy paper, that is when now they set the budget ceiling. If you can remember from the previous training where we learned about the county budget review and outlook paper, the CBROP, it gave projections what the county should budget for. But the county fiscal strategy paper, now this gives the budget ceiling. Like it's saying that we are going to give health 5 billion. So it is tabled. It is the county executive come up with it, and then the county assembly also take a look at it, and then it is submitted to the members of the assembly, to the members of the public. Are they okay with the amount that has been set there? If they are not okay, then they can advocate for whichever department that they want there to be an increase in budgetary allocation. So you find that it also highlights the overall size of the budget. The way I'm saying, you may find that our total county has a budget of maybe 10 billion shilling, okay? So it gives the overall size of the budget, which is now 20, let's say like 20 billion shillings. And then it shows us the revenue, like the income that they're expecting to get, the expenditure, how much will be used, deficit balance, and debt, like the one that will be borrowed for the coming year, okay? So you see, like for the coming year, since we are in 2021, so now for the coming year, it's going to be 2021, 2022, okay? And then it also says what is the distribution of spending at the sector level, so that you can get to know, when it comes to the Department of Infrastructure, how much money is supposed to go there, how much is supposed to be spent there, how much is supposed to be spent even in health, as well as maybe Ministry of Youth, you know. So it gives the distribution of spending at the sector level. So there are elements of a county fiscal strategy paper, okay? These are things that the county fiscal strategy paper should have. They are called the 3 Ps and 1 C. So it should highlight performance so that at least we can know, like the previous year, how did they perform? And that performance, how is it also, when we look at that performance, how will it inform the coming year monetary allocation? And also it gives projections. So a county fiscal strategy paper should give projections, like even in the next 2 years, how much money will be allocated, all right, for even each department. And it also highlights priorities. So like, what is the county prioritizing for the next financial year? Are they going to prioritize on health? Are they going to prioritize on roads? Are they going to prioritize on agriculture? So the CFSP does that. And it also gives feelings so that you can get to know, like, the departments or the sectors, how much is each supposed to get. So that is the ceilings, the 3 P's and a C.
I see.
So before I get there, Beatrice,
Yes.
like, kindly elaborate, what are the 3 P's and C's before we move forward?
The prioritizing, the projection. So when it comes to the prioritization, it has to deal with which projects is the county going to emphasize or give more of their revenue. The projections has got to do with what they will do. The performance is how much will be achieved, and the ceiling is how much money will be given or revenue will be allocated to which prioritized or to which projects.
Awesome.
I don't
So
know whether I am right there.
yes, you are right. So here are the elements of CFSP. Now explaining it further. There should be data on budget performance for the current year, at least the first 6 months. So that when we look at the county fiscal strategy paper, it should show us that. And it should also show us projections for the coming year, okay? Projections for the coming year plus 2 years. It should also show us a narrative explaining priorities for the coming year plus 2 years. And it should also give us ceilings, maximum amounts for how much can be spent in each sector for the coming year. And it should be aligned with the national objectives in the budget policy statement. So the county fiscal strategy paper is the equivalent, the other name for using it, like if we are talking nationally, is the budget policy statement, okay? So all of them should align with each other. So there should be that. So they're saying that there should be data on budget performance for the current year. So I would like to share a screen, so that at least now you may understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay. So so this is the, okay, wait. This is I got the wrong one. Some analysis I was doing. So let me remove that one. So let me share the screen once again. Share screen. So the case study that we are going to use here is the one for Machakos County. Okay. So this is the CFSP for Machakos County strategy paper 2020. Okay. So this is what we are going to use. Okay. So I'd like now to jump to, so if you can see like the table of contents, you can see that chapter 1 highlights the county fiscal strategy paper process overview, where it also entails the process, the legal basis, rationale, and outline of the 2020 fiscal strategy paper. And then chapter 2 looks at the recent economic developments and outlook. So it looks at both global, regional, and nationally. And then now it also comes down to county. And then chapter 3 looks at strategies to enhance sustainable social economic growth. So here it discusses now the different sectors, as you can see. And then chapter 4, now this one talks about the fiscal and budget framework. Now where we are going to also focus on. So I've clicked 23. Okay. Yeah. So this chapter outlines the fiscal framework for the financial year 2020-2021, as well as the medium term. So 2020-2021, as we are speaking right now, is the current year that we are in, all right? So it also provides an overview of the resource envelope, proposed ceilings, as well as expenditures. So the national government's fiscal policy seeks to support structural reforms of the county government economies that are consistent with long-term growth objectives, employment creation, and an equitable distribution of income. So here you can see that the national government financial policy seeks to strengthen even the county government economies so that the country economic outlook can grow. So you can see here that the fiscal policy generally seeks to ensure a sound and sustainable balance between government spending, tax, and borrowing requirements. So so government spending, which is expenditure, tax is like how the county government is going to generate income through on-source revenues, and also borrowing requirements. So it also generally seeks to improve domestic savings to support a higher level of investment and reduce the need to borrow abroad, and to keep government consumption spending at affordable level, contributing to lower inflation and a sustainable balance of payments. So these are fiscal policy. So I'd like to to let you understand the fiscal responsibility principles. This is very, very important. So in managing the county government public finances, now like Machakos, the Public Financial Management Act 2012 expects the county treasury to enforce the following fiscal responsibility principles. So number 1, the county government's recurrent expenditure shall not exceed the county government's total revenue. Have you understood that?
Yes.
Secondly, over the medium term, a minimum of 30% of the government's budget shall be allocated to the development expenditure. So you can see here that if a county has like maybe 5 billion, 30% of which should be allocated to the development expenditure. And then the county government expenditure on wages and benefits for its public officers shall not exceed a percentage of the county government's total revenue, as prescribed by the county executive member for finance in regulations and approved by the county assembly. So you can see that all these laws, the county government has to adhere to. And also over the medium term, the government borrowing shall be used only for the purpose of financing development expenditure and not for recurrent expenditure. Have you understood that?
Yes.
And
so we cannot borrow to pay salaries.
Exactly. And then the county debt shall be maintained at a sustainable level as approved by the county assembly. And then the fiscal risk shall be managed prudently, and a reasonable degree of predictability with respect to the level of tax rates and tax bases shall be maintained, taking into account any tax reforms that may be made in the future. So, with regard to performance review, when we discussed the elements, the 3 P's and C's, we said that the first one is performance. And then the second one, we said it is
projection.
It is what? Projection. And the third one?
Performance. And then ceiling.
And ceiling. So it is number one. No, you have repeated performance twice. So it is performance, projection.
What was the other one? Projection.
Yeah.
Projection.
So it is performance, projection, priorities. Yes, and ceilings. Okay. So
let me ask Violet, just before you move on.
Yes.
Can the county government borrow externally?
Yes, it can.
Like now, can the county government borrow money from European Union?
Well, it can, but it has to consult the treasury, the national treasury. Yeah, it has to consult them when it is doing that. So that at least they are notified. Yeah. So you find that like even you find like you see like the way Governor Mutoa wanted now he had reached out to private partners. So like it's called a public-private partnership. So a county government can enter into a public-private partnership. Okay?
But it can't borrow an external debt. Can they?
Well, it can, but they are laid out frameworks that it has to follow. Yes, that is why each county must have a public debt strategy framework. Yes, so that one may guide how it is done.
But Violet, my question on that case, if the county government can borrow externally, I was just wondering, when the president goes to UK,
yes,
you will borrow from the president of UK.
Yes.
Now, if our governor wants to borrow from UK, he will go and borrow from who?
No. The Nini can't borrow from the UK government, because the UK government is entering into agreement with the national government. So you find that when the national government borrows, that is why you find that when the national government borrows, you find that that money is part of the money that is also distributed to the counties as equitable share.
Okay.
Yes, as income for the county. But a county can't go to the same external donor like the UK or World Bank to borrow, because those ones they go directly through the treasury, and then now the treasury, once they get the money, it streams down now to the counties.
Okay.
Right. So as we stated, like it should show performance, the first element. Okay. So if we look at this Machakos County fiscal strategy paper, you can see that on page 24, it says performance review. So it says that in the financial year 2019-2020, the county had a budget of 12.8 billion. to be financed from two main sources of revenue, namely allocation from the national government as well as county own source revenue. Okay. Now that was so they have to give us now even the previous so that we can get to know how it performed previously. So they are saying that from the national government, the county was to receive 8.2 billion as equitable share and 2.4 billion as conditional grants. The county owned revenue was projected to be 2.2 billion. All right. So the performance of the revenues for the first half of the financial year is as outlined in table 1 and 2 below. So you can see on-source revenue performance. So like the on-source revenue performance for Machakos County, you can see land rates, the single business permit, there's quarry, there's sand gravel, there's market fees, there's a plot or stall to rent, bus park, house rent, refuse, signboard. So as you can see here, you can see like the actual financial year 2018-2019, that time they collected 279,731,890. And for the approved financial year budget 2019-2020, they collected an increase. It increased to 300 and no, this was this one was the approved that that will be released to the county. So that they had said that they are expecting to collect. So for the first half of financial year 2019, they managed to collect 49,244,308 from land rates and ground rate, and yet their revised target for this financial year was 281 million. Okay, so for the first, when they say first half means the first 6 months. Yes. So the first 6 months, they only managed to collect 49 million out of 281, the target that they had set. So at least now you can see, it can give you like now the previous performance so that you may understand. So you can see all that is and this is from the Machakos County Treasury, okay? So for the first, like for on-source revenue, for the first 6 months, for the financial year 2019-2020, they collected 529,779,665,000 against a revised target of 1,608,576,900. So they're expecting that for the second half of the financial year 2019, they will collect the other balance so that they can meet this target. So they are saying as at December 2019, the county collected 529, which is this 0.8 million, which represents 32.9% of revised target for on-source revenue. Emphasis will therefore be put in enhancing revenues so that it achieves the targeted amount to ensure that programs and projects are implemented as budgeted. So you can see like for the first 6 months, so that is the amount, that is 32%. They only collected 32% of this revised target. So that means that for the second half, now which starts January 2019, for the financial year 2019-2020 to June 2019-2020, they expect to collect more. But at 32.9%, that is alarming for the first 6 months, okay? But when it comes to June, you find that many companies and also many entities have filed their tax returns. So now the county government will be able to know the rates. So even with regards to on-source revenue performance for quarter 1 and 2 in 2018 and 19, they are giving us a comparison. You can see that for quarter one, a quarter is the first 3 months, okay, of 2018 and 2019. So we are comparing the financial year 2018 and the financial year 2019, the first quarter, okay, for quarter 1 and quarter 2. So for quarter 1, you can see that they managed to get in 2018 2.5 million, But in quarter two, in quarter one, they managed to get 2.5 million, while in 2019, they reduced. So it came to around 1.7 billion. Okay. This is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So yeah, 1.7 billion. So you can see there was a difference. Quarter one for 2018 and 2019. So in 2018 they collected more, but in 2019 they collected less. So when we look at quarter two, so quarter one is like July, August, September. Okay. So the past 3 months of 2018 and 2019. And then quarter two, which is November, July, August, September, October, November, December. October, November, December of quarter two, that is 2018, they managed to collect 2.1 billion there. And then in 2019, it increased to almost 3.5 billion, almost. Okay. So you can see it's giving you even the chart so that you may be able to see. So they're saying the county was able to collect 529.8 million between July and December 2019, up from 483.6 million collected in 2018 over the same period, representing an increase of 9.6%. So this is very, very good. So these are monthly on-source revenue. So you can see this is for July 2018 and this is for 2019. So you can see that in July 2018, they got more money, almost at 85 million, while July, hey, almost 18 million. And you can see that in November, it peaked in 2019. So we might be interested to get to know what made there be a sharp increase in on-source revenue. So it also gives the half-year performance revenue for the financial year 2019-2020. So even as you can see here, they are giving they are saying the equitable share, the approved revenues were 8 billion, and revised revenue 9 billion. And then for the half year, they managed to get 4 billion. So that is 45%. Okay. Now equitable performance. Now conditional grants. Do you remember what conditional grants are?
Yes, which are specific. For a specific project.
So like conditional grants, you find that they are given by like Danida, World Bank, yes, with conditions. That is why you are seeing it saying conditional grants. Yes. Now those ones are given and they usually go to the agricultural sector, as well as even there's also the Kenya Devolution Support Program, and there was also the ones for health. So for conditional grants, the approved revenues were 2 billion, and then revised 2.6 billion, and then the half-year receipt that they got was 295 million. So that is when we look at performance, it is 11%. And then on-source revenue from the county, they had stated 2 billion, revised to 1.6 billion, and the half-year receipts was 5.29 million. That is 33% performance. So you find that the equitable share, so a county generates revenue from the equitable share, conditional grants, and on-source revenue. So the equitable share and conditional grants come from the national government. Okay. And then now on-source revenue from the county. So you can find that the county of Machakos then for the financial 2019-2020 managed to get 4.98 billion. and the target that they had set is 13 billion. So they are saying here that as at 31st December 2019, the county had received 4.98 billion, which is equivalent to 37% of the approved financial year 2019-2020, as indicated in the table above. All right. So the county received 4.16 billion as equitable share, 294.5 million grants, while collected 529.78 million by December 2019. So this represents 83%, 6%, and 11% respectively. So this is a graphical representation of received revenue. So for financial year 2019-2020, so you can see revenue receipts. All right. So which one here do you see that it is taking a larger chunk?
The equitable share.
So kindly share what is equitable share, what is conditional grants, and what is OSR.
The equitable share is what they get from the central government or the main government. Conditional grants are the ones that they get from organizations like Danida and all that are specific for specific projects, and on collection, what they were able to raise.
Yes, so OSR means on source revenue. So you find that county governments, it is ideal for a county to generate its own income. So the OSR is the one that is supposed to get the larger deal. But unfortunately, counties have not been able to do that. So the counties depend so much on this equitable share so that they can run their projects and activities. So you find that counties depend more on like 83% and also the 6% conditional grants. So you find like these grants that come, like even in the health sector, they support the health system strengthening for counties. So like even paying like even the workers there, nurses, like health employs so many personnel, all right? And then 11% went towards on source revenue. So they're also giving us like now expenditure. We went through revenue, now it is expenditure. So it is good to know the performance. So with regard to expenditure, the total expenditure as at 31st December that was used, okay, that the county government used is 4.68 billion, which translates to 35% of the approved budget, as illustrated in table 3 below. Of this, 3.97 billion was recurrent expenditure, while 0.71 billion accounted for development expenditure. So, what is recurrent expenditure? What is recurrent expenditure? And what is development expenditure?
This is bad news. The current expenditure are the salaries and the day-to-day running of the offices. And then the development is where they look at the infrastructure, maybe construction of roads, hospitals.
Awesome. So you can see here they are saying that Department of Roads had the highest development expenditure of 463 million, accounting for 64.7% of the total development expenditure. So as you can see here, this is development expenditure for the financial year 2019. And like 30% of the total county budget should go towards development expenditure, okay? It should go towards the development expenditure. That's why you're seeing here, they are saying that for the first half of the year, the county of this, like 4.68 billion, of this 3.97 billion was recurrent expenditure for the day-to-day running, while 0.71 billion, which is 30%, was accounted for development expenditure. So, and then you hear that the development expenditure, even though it is more like this, most of this was used for Department of Roads. Now, this also brings the issue of priorities. But the one for priorities we are going to discuss later. Why did the county prioritize roads as opposed to others? So, you know, sometimes like even roads, you find that counties invest a lot in roads, also because of political reasons. You know, people vote for things that they see. So even a mheshimiwa, he'll advocate for a road because people are going to say, because like his constituents are going to say, yes, we have seen the mheshimiwa has done this and that. So it might increase their voting, like people voting for them. So you can see here that like for half-year departmental expenditure, you can see like the office of the governor. So for budget estimates for financial year 2019-2020, so for development they had put at 5. This is like 5. This department 5 million, and then recurrent 552 million. So like here 5 million, maybe that one may be upgrading of the office or something like that. All right. And then if you look at health and emergency, you can see that budget estimate for the financial year 2019-2020, they had given it 643,719,000, while recurrent got 3 billion. So you can see like, and so this brings the total to 4.03. So you see like now this 643 for health is the one that is supposed to go towards upgrading of the hospitals in Machakos County. It is supposed to go even towards upgrading the hospitals, even purchasing maybe equipment even. So you find that this amount is the only one that was used. And you know that this is the amount that is given for the whole financial year. And a whole financial year is 12 months. So is this money adequate? But if you look at roads got like 1 billion for development and recurrent 182 million. So it took the largest chunk. And you can see that that brings the total to 1.4 billion. And by in the past 6 months of 2019-2020, you can see like for health development, they had received 74,212,866, while recurrent they had received 945 million. So with roads they had received 463 million and recurrent they had received 62 million. So you can see those particular changes. So even with regard to resource envelope, you can see that in accordance with Article 203 of the Constitution of Kenya, the county government is expected to receive an equitable share from the revenue raised nationally every year. So before we go there, we are going to look at this other thing, like share screen. Let me come here to share screen. Share screen. So we have now looked at performance, isn't it? So the next thing we are going to look at now is projection, the second P, projection, okay? So, when I remove that, let me share screen again. Let me share screen. So we are going to start here. We're going to start sharing about the resource envelope. So in accordance with Article 203(2) of the Constitution of Kenya, that is why I told you that like even the other budget champions who have not been able to join us today, that these key government budget documents are in line with the legal framework set by the government. So you find that now there is the Public Finance Management Act 2012 that they have to adhere to, also the County Government Act 2012, and also you also find the Constitution of Kenya. So they're saying in accordance with Article 203(2) of the Constitution of Kenya, the county government is expected to receive an equitable share from the revenue raised nationally every financial year. So, and this one is usually based on a formula. So like there was
that is what they were discussing the other day.
Yes, the one that they fought. You know, there was the first formula which was developed by the Commission for Revenue Allocation, and then there was also second, and then there was the proposed third. But people fought against the third revenue formula, saying that different counties are going to suffer. So now they said, let things stay as they are. So it's like they are following the second formula with regards to equitable share, how much money should come to the counties. So in accordance with Article 203(2) of the Constitution of Kenya, the county government is expected to receive an equitable share from the revenue raised nationally every financial year. So in the financial year 2020-2021, the county is set to receive 8 billion as equitable share and 1.25 billion as conditional grants. Okay? And you see, like this equitable share, it depends per county. In Machakos, they're receiving 88 billion. But you may find that Nairobi is receiving more, Turkana County might be receiving more. You may find Tana River County has its own share. So Machakos County here is getting 8 billion shillings as equitable share and 1.25 billion as conditional grants. So on county revenue is projected at 1.7 billion, up from 1.8 billion from financial year 2019-2020. So even as you can see, we had reviewed the 2019 one, all right? So in 2019-2020, that financial year, they had projected that they will generate revenue of 1.8 billion. But in this financial year, 2020-2021, they had said 1.7 billion. So table 4 below outlines the county resource envelope enumerating each grant for the financial year 2021 and in the median term. So you can see here, like this is like the projections that the county is supposed to is expecting to get even for the next 2 financial years. So you can see 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023. All right, you can see it here. So like now, like we talked about we talked about projections. So you can see here that level 5 hospital, when it comes now to equitable share, which is also a revenue that the county gets. So level 5 hospital, for the financial 2018-2019, they were to receive 383 million. And then the printed estimates for the financial year 2019 were, okay, let's start here. Like the equitable share, 2018-2019, 10 billion. But for the financial year 2019-2020, 8.2 billion. And then revised to 9.1 billion. And then for 2021, this is what they expect to get, 8.03 billion. And then what they have projected for the financial year 2021-2022 to get is 8.4 billion, and 2022-2023 financial year, 8.8 billion. So you can see that Machakos County has done well, because when it comes to equitable share, they have broken it down so that you can get to know like how much money is going where, okay? Like with regards to conditional grants. You know, the conditional grants are the ones that come from like even development partners. So you can see here, like they are saying how much money should go towards level 5 hospitals, how much money should go towards, and also the projected that is expected for the financial year 2021-2022. So with regard even to this one for agriculture, you can see that they have only given us the financial estimate for 2019-2022, 2019-2020 revised, but they have not given us for 2020-2021. So does this mean when you see like there is a dash, they have not put information? What comes to your mind, Beatrice? You can see that even for the Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture, no money has been allocated. What comes to your mind?
That is conditional grant.
Pardon?
That is falling under conditional grant.
Pardon? like the previous year money was allocated, but like even for the current year and the next 2 years, money has not been allocated. What does this mean?
But you see, those are conditional grants. And they haven't gotten a conditional giver.
Awesome. Yeah, that might also be exactly. That is the reason why. Even you can see, like even Kenya Devolution Support, no money was given. So if it is zero, then that means they will not receive any money. So you can see even for the World Bank, no money. Like even the World Bank, this other one, like no money. And then now for Universal Health Program, at least we can see that they have given for devolved system from Danida. They have given us like how much is going to be given, and also for the next 2 years. All right. And also the Transforming Health Systems project from the World Bank. So that those ones, they have given them money. But for the other ones that they have zero, then that means that they have not been given money. And even it is alarming to see, even for this one, for Universal Health Care Project, you find that it is 0-0, and yet the government had said that UHC is one of its big 4 agenda here in Kenya. So it begs the question, why isn't there monetary support for that? So you can see that with regard to loans and grants, this is the amount of money that they have in total. And then with regard to on-source revenue, like the one that the county expects to generate and what it has projected for the next 2 years, you can see even the amount. And so the total county allocation when it comes to revenue, you can see the amount, okay? Like the total, the one that they expect from the equitable share, conditional grants, and on-source revenue, okay? So, as you can see here, they are saying this is the criteria for resource sharing. So non-discretionary expenditure. So they are saying in the current expenditure category, non-discretionary expenditures take the first charge and include stationary obligations such as salaries, gratuity, and pension. These expenditures are projected at 53% of the total revenue, okay? And then development expenditures are shared out on the basis of the CIDP priorities. You remember the CIDP? What did we say the CIDP is?
County Integrated Development Project.
Yes.
Program.
Plan. Yeah. So development expenditures are shared out on the basis of the County Integrated Development Plan priorities, as well as strategic interventions to boost revenue base and stimulate the economic growth as outlined in the Governor's Manifesto. So the development expenditures are estimated at 30%, okay? And then also the other criteria for resource sharing is ongoing projects. Emphasis is given to completion of ongoing projects with high impact on poverty reduction, social injustices, employment, and wealth creation, okay? And then infrastructure projects. So with the county government's commitment to improve infrastructure, construction of roads, development of water and sanitation network, energy and construction of community hospitals among those will be given a priority, okay? So yes, they are saying this, but if we look at the development expenditure, they are saying like infrastructure projects, that infrastructure is number 1, construction of roads. So like the development expenditure should go towards this. Development of water and sanitation network, energy and construction of community hospitals. But if that is a priority, if we look at this development expenditure here, can you see that the county is indeed prioritizing? That the county is indeed yes, is it really prioritizing?
And water irrigation.
Yes. So let us see whether they have done so. So you can see like for water irrigation and they have given 1 billion, which is good. which is also commendable, okay? But that is the amount that they had stated. But if we look here, this is the half-year development expenditure, okay? This is the half-year expense, and this is development, and this is recurrent. So we will be looking at this half-year so that we can see whether the county is indeed prioritizing, okay? So you can see like even water and irrigation, like development 1 billion, but when it comes to the first 6 months, you find it is getting 1 million. And it's already the first 6 months. Will it be able to at least get the rest so that it can be able to achieve what they have said here? Because if you look at roads, they had said 1 billion, but you can see that for the first 6 months, they had allocated 463 million. But when it comes to water and irrigation, they had stated 1 billion, but what was released was just 1 million. So you can see that change. So it is really wanting. Yes, they are saying that water is a priority, but you can see for yourself. Health, they said 643 million for development, but for the half year, first 6 months, they only utilized 74 million. So sometimes the government might say things in writing, but when it comes now to implementation, you find that there's a different story. So they are saying with the county government's commitment to improve infrastructure, construction of road, development of water and sanitation network, energy and construction of, among others, will be given priority. And then operation and maintenance. So it accounts for 17% of the total estimated revenue, operation and maintenance, even of the equipment, even of cars, you know. So that is 17%. So now you can see how a county utilizes even that money. So you can see like for this non-recurrent expenditure, this expenditure projected at 53% of the total revenue. And you can also see here that development expenditure, that is 30% of the total county budget. And then you can see that even when it comes to operation and maintenance, that is 17% of the total estimated revenue. So that is how the county government comes up with the amounts. So you can see here a summary of budgetary allocations. So approved for the financial year 2019-2020 was 12 billion, but for 2020-2021, you can see the budget estimates was at 11 billion. Equitable share 8.2 billion. Here it from 2021, it reduced to 8.8 billion. Conditional grants 2.3 billion. Budget 2021 1.2 billion. Local revenue, you can see 2.2 billion, but 2021 1.7 billion. So even when it comes to a total expenditure, you can see that they're expecting to use 12.8 billion, but for the budget estimates for the next financial year, they reduced it to 11 billion. Okay. So yeah, so that is why I wanted that. Because the next one that we are going to also look at is priorities. All right. And because of time, we'll not be able now to look at that now. Yeah, because now that is the next P that we'll be looking at. Priority as well as ceiling. Because from here now we are going to start looking at ceilings. So today that is where we are going to reach. So for next week, we are going to look at now the other P, which is priority and ceiling. Other P and C. Do you have any question?
No, I'm just presentation.
You
are very conversant with the figures, which is very good. It's also possible to identify the gaps that need to be filled.
Awesome.
And that need to be questioned.
So we appreciate that you have learned. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can say. But if you don't have any more questions, then we are going to meet next week so that we can now get to finish up with the county fiscal strategy paper part 2, because it's all about teaching theory as well as practice, okay, to enable that you understand everything very well.
Sawa.
All right, sawa. Thank you for joining today's class.
Okay.